Kenst here. I am about to show you how to assemble a WTX harness from Apex. This is a backplated BCD. It's actually a rig that technical divers would wear, not so much recreational divers. I'm a pretty experienced diver, and many of the other instructors that I dive with also wear this type of BCD. So I went looking online for instructions on how to assemble it, looking for a great YouTube video, and there is none. So that's what you're about to get right now. Not a great video, but okay, decent, not bad, since there's nothing else out there. If you can see the table, you will see that I have the WTX Harness. I have a WTX Bladder. This is a 40. I have the SureLock weight systems, the two pockets. I have two grip lock tank bands. I have a WTX harness plate, aluminum plate, and then I have a tank plate as well. And so I'm about to figure out how to assemble this all. Come and watch. We've got the harness, we've got the bladder, and we've got the two tank straps. Everything else we've cleared off the table. You'll see that we have two sets of tank straps because I ordered the grip lock tank straps in addition to the ones that come with it. Although I'm going to be using the grip lock when I assemble them, it should be the exact same as when you use just the regular tank straps that came with it. There are two approaches to attaching the bladder. This is the back side where the tank goes right here. So there's two approaches to attaching the bladder to the actual harness. The first one is with screws, which we're not going to do. We're just going to use the tank straps, which is the second, to loop in the tank straps here and attach it to the actual harness. That'll make it much easier to combine the two. And it doesn't require any extra parts. So you'll now see that I have the tank straps laying over the bladder. This is the tank side of the bladder. And then I have the harness here, and this is actually the back side of the harness. Back, front. And so I'm going to do this in a way that demonstrates it to you, so it's just sort of reversed to me, but I'm going to go ahead and put the tank straps. These tank straps actually have the logo, the Apex logo, on that shows the right side, the top side. So I'm going to feed these into the right side of the BC, the right side of the bladder, just right through the two holes on either side. So that'll allow the tank straps to hold in the tank. I'm going to flip it over and pull both of the tank straps out here. Now what I want to do is I want to take the tank straps and I actually want to loop them through the single layer of the strap on the harness. So I'm going to actually loop them through here and then back through these holes. So as you can see, we now have the tank straps started through the middle section of the harness. So we're just going to go ahead and pull these all the way through. And as we're doing that, we're just going to sort of adjust, pull the bladder along with us. So we'll get both tank straps through. It's quite tight. And their Velcro does not help. But we've got both through, so we're just going to go ahead and pull these tight, as you can see, and then we're going to loop them back through the other sides of each, top and bottom. And then we're just going to lay the bladder on top of the harness. And if you've done it right, the grommets should line up as well as should both of the tank straps, like so. So now we're done with the first part. Our tank strap is on. You can see that I've already secured mine, connected both ends. And so now the bladder and the harness are connected. So now we're on to our second step. And so we're going to take the back plate and we're going to insert it into the harness. The way we're going to do that is simply we're just going to take the nice soft back cover here and we're just going to unvelcro it. And then you'll notice if you pull up, there's actually a pocket in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the back plate like so and just slide it all the way into the pocket and as far down as we can get it. If you've done it right, again, the grommets are going to line up. You can push it down a little bit and then we're just going to reseal it back up. Like so. So we're at our final step, well, the final step before we get to our optional installing the SureLock weight system. But the final step, if you're not doing that, of attaching the final back plate. This plate is actually going to go on the bladder side, and it's going to be the thing that reinforces, that actually connects the harness, the back plate that we already installed, and the bladder. So what we're going to do is open up our harness and we're going to take the two longest screws that come with the back plate. There are actually two sets of screws, smaller and larger ones. These are the larger ones, and we're going to install them in the lowest of the holes. We're going to seal it back up and then we're going to flip our BCD, flip the whole harness. Okay, now that we've flipped this, we're simply going to lay this back plate down so that we can reach the screws, and you can actually reach around and do what I'm doing if it doesn't pop all the way through. We're going to install our washers. And then we're just going to fasten them. And then we're just going to make it nice and tight. All right, and that's pretty much it. Now you've got the tank plate. We have securely fastened the two parts. We've fastened the bladder to the harness and we are ready. All right, so our final and optional step is going to be installing the SureLock weight system pockets. The first thing I did was actually remove the pocket from the sleeve itself. That'll make it easier for us to install. You're going to need a couple of tools for this. If you haven't already seen the instructions, you're going to need a 3mm Allen wrench and a flathead screwdriver. Those are going to help with the two screws that we have. I'm also going to start on the side with the buckle. So I've already removed that in preparation for this, but it was pretty easy. You're just going to slide off the buckle, and then what we're going to do is we're going to install a weight pocket on the side here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide, I'm going to start like so. And so I'm going to put it in the weight pocket first. Then I'm going to thread it back through the hook here. And then finally back through the weight pocket. And if I've done this correctly, you'll see that the grommets on the end here, the last two grommets here and the last two on the weight pocket should align. And it'll be probably a little hard for you to tell, but on camera, but there we go. So those two are now aligned, which is great. So now I'll be able to take both screws, so the Allen wrench screw and the flathead screw. I'm going to put the Allen wrench screw on the inside of the pocket, and you'll be able to see just pop through right there. Then I'm going to hook up the grommet, align that, make that as easy as possible for me, and then I'm going to hook on the flathead screw, and I'll go ahead and just twist that on to start it. Once that's sort of started and hooked on, I'm going to go ahead and do the other one as well. So there are two things that I've discovered since trying this. The first one is when I originally set this up, I was trying to align the grommets on the weight pocket to the ones in the back. After trying it on, I figured I had better try it on. It turns out that the best fit for me is going to be actually on the middle grommets. So I had to realign those. Always a good idea to measure twice before cutting once, so to speak. The other thing I realized is that the flathead, I had started with the flathead screwdriver screw on the outside, so it was actually inside the pocket sleeve. It didn't fit as flush as the Allen wrench side, so I've completely swapped those now. So here's what it looks like final. So I've got the threaded the flathead screws on the inside of the pocket, or I should say on the inside of the BC, and then I've got the Allen wrench screws. You can see the Allen wrench screws are on the inside of the pocket. Personally, I think this makes it it's a little bit flusher on the inside, so that should make it a little bit better for the pocket. I don't know that it's really going to matter. The instructions are sort of, they don't mention anything about that, but there we go. Lastly, let's put the buckle back on the strap. So what I'm going to do is take the strap and I'm going to feed it through the second open loop. I'm going to take the second loop, so you can see first, second loop. Great. I'm going to put it through the loop in the back here. Pull that through. Make sure that that's in a decent location. Great. And then pull that tight a little bit, and then we're just going to turn it around and put it through the final lower loop. And now we make it tight. Now your buckle is back in its original position. And that is how we assemble a WTX harness from Apex. So now we have a fully working BCD. I flipped over the power inflator. It was actually pointed towards the bladder before. Our weight pockets are all installed. Now all we have to do is adjust our shoulder straps. So these actually, I've already started adjusting these, moving them closer together for my height, just to pull the BCD closer to me. You can also adjust the other straps down here as well. And that's what it looks like. Now we're ready to attach a tank, adjust our tank straps, hook up our regulators, and start diving.